Dates is my favorite thing in the iftar table because you don't have to cook it.
Any given time, I just went to the gym, I have a date in my hand. Being Sri Lankan is super cool. Why? You get to enjoy all the festivals and end up eating all the great food. Now that Ramadan is upon us, I have made sure that I have friended my Muslim friends a little bit more. Giving those little subtle hint. What lapang? Samosa? A faluda. These are just so much more nicer when it comes from their home. You can make it at home, but it just doesn't taste the same. But with me, I have someone who is definitely not only practicing this wonderful time where she has to sacrifice a lot, but also she does so much for the community in helping, in standing up for what is right and what she believes in. Nabila, thank you for being with me today. Tell me about what you do, because I know for a fact that you do a lot for community and that's your calling. What made you take up all of this and what are you currently busy with?
Thank you, Danu. My name is Nabila Iqbal. I work mostly in women's and minority rights, particularly with reforming family laws and things like that. I believe in what I do because I think in my religion also it says to do what is right. And for me, I feel like if I wasn't doing this, I would feel unusual, So I just feel like this is what I have to be doing. Nothing else would work for me. Yeah.
True, and kudos to you. I'm telling you, the work that you do, not everyone comes forward to do it, and speaking for things that you believe in takes a lot of guts. And were you always like this from the time you were young?
No, I'm quite introverted actually, so it takes a lot for me to just push out and talk. So I'm on a podcast now. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been a bit more on the quiet side, I would say.
Nabila, I find it fascinating. You're fasting the whole day.
Yeah.
And all what you settle for at the start is this one single date and water. I could do a buffet.
I mean, when you come to the end of the fast, it's actually difficult to stomach anything else. And I think it's also a sign of what fasting means to us. It's about kind of letting go of all these worldly desires and overconsumption and things and just kind of coming to what our body really needs. And actually, in my opinion, dates do a lot. It's got the fiber, the nutrients. Look at the face. It's got the fiber, the nutrients, and it really helps you kind of sustain that energy. But it does have a lot of sugar. So I mean, if you have diabetes, I don't think you should be eating 50 a day.
Just stick to one, not two.
3,
but maximum, I think that's what you sort of... Amazing. Well, I think that's something for me to... I never took dates and gave it such a special place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But today people put it into smoothies and...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like the trend to have a date in your hand at any given time. I just went to the gym, I have a date in my hand.
Shake.
Yeah.
Protein shake.
Yeah, so it's cool. I wanted to know the reason and what's the story behind. Especially when I fly to the Middle Eastern countries, you have such a variety of dates stuffed with all these amazing things and you're like, wow, things that you can't imagine that they do. But tell me about the date culture and kitchens today.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, dates is my favorite thing in the iftar table because you don't have to cook it. You just open the pack and it's on the table.
I'm not coming to your house. I promise you.
Please, Danu, be with me on this, right? So it's and I love it because it's least effort. Just there, people eat 2 to 3, that's it. And I think that's great because at the end of the day, you're so tired. And especially it's women who prepare the table, right? So I mean, as much as it's easier for them, the better. And they spend so much of time making everything else. And I think for them, just give us some rest, That's what I would say.
I know what I'm getting when I go to your house. I'm going to get a pack of dates.
Iced water.
Hot water, a water kettle, tea leaves, and a tin kiri bottle. Say, make everything yourself.
No, I'll put in some effort on that day.
It takes a lot of dedication. What is the willpower that you sort of build up within yourself? Because your days are not going to get shorter. Your workload is not reducing.
Yeah.
You are out there still working throughout those days.
Yeah.
And sometimes from the outside, all what I think about is the food that I can get from my Muslim friends. And how when I'll get invited for the next biryani feast, because I think your friends are the same.
Mm-hmm.
When they have to bother you, they are going to bother you with those
Yeah.
things. But they don't see the struggles that
Yeah.
you might go through during the day. You
Yeah.
know, you might be thirsty. And these days have been so
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
We've been fasting since we were kids, right? So we would fast like half the day and kind of get like a practice sort of
Right.
when we were younger. So now when we're fasting as older, like it's not that difficult. But of course, like, you know, everyone is not required to fast. If you're sick, if you have a chronic illness, if you're on medication, if you're pregnant, you don't have to do it. It's also a sign that fasting is not only about not eating food. It's also about kind of locking in, you know, like the spirituality and things. It's a time where we reflect on the past Ramadan and like what it was like for us and how far we've come and things like that as well. Yeah.
It's like soul searching.
Yeah, it's also like really giving up outwardly things and things you really don't need and kind of going back to what really helps us. Yeah.
When you were growing up, was it hard? Because especially school friends, birthday parties during this time.
Yeah, actually, like the first
You're
day
just
of
thinking about it, you know, like,
the first day of fasting is always the most difficult because you forget you're fasting.
Yeah.
I remember eating birthday cake, like forgetting and wondering why are my teeth like sugary because there was cake in my mouth. So I think it comes with a little bit of practice
Correct.
as well.
And also, human errors are always forgivable.
yeah, it's forgiven.
Yeah,
it's
that
forgiven.
is. It's not that you meant to do it. Yes. But what is your normal festivities at home? Like, how do y'all celebrate when it all ends and when y'all have like friends over, family over? How do you get an invite?
when it's all over, it's just us with family having lunch, usually
Thanks.
biryani, and then we pack that biryani and then we put it in the fridge and we have it again for dinner. So that's just Ramadan, like that's just festival for us. It's
We are
mostly
not cooking again. We're just serving you
just
the
eat
same,
the same food.
same biryani again.
And also, like, we're so tired by then,
Yeah,
no?
I'm
It's just
sure.
like catching up on sleep. Like, even in Ramadan, we sleep in installments. We wake up at 4 o'clock, we eat, then we stay up for a bit, we go back to bed, and then we wake up again. And then it's just getting through the day. That's the most difficult part for me, personally.
I just want to ask you about what you do
Yeah.
personally as a job. You speak for those who may be afraid to speak out. You come out and fight for those who have been made to believe that they are less. Out of all these people who you have met, cases that you have done, what stands very close to your heart?
I think for me, it's the little things, right? If, let's say, for example, there was a lady we were working with who, at the beginning of our work, was a bit too scared to do anything or asking us to do things for her. And then you see after a while, she's standing up for her own rights. And it's about those really little things, I think, that make a huge difference for me. Or someone who was very introverted at the beginning, who is now sort of like speaking up for us sometimes, you know. I think those are the things I really appreciate. And Ramadan, honestly, even though people think, you know, we're fasting, we're busy, but, you know, people are still in their homes, you know. So if there's something like domestic violence, that's still there, you know.
True.
So for us, the work never stops, you know. Like, offices might close down, people might close down, but for us, our work will always go on. Yeah.
It's amazing. And I think the most awareness that you can give, the more that we can speak about issues like this, we create a conversation, and a conversation is needed to find a solution. And it's never the space where you're in. You may think, oh, I'm in the heart of Colombo. What happens here? You'll be shocked with all the stories that you'll hear around us. So champions like you and your friends and your community that's doing it, it's amazing. What I really love about this island home we have is the fact that we get to celebrate everyone and everything. And I think that's the best part. Like, you go to a school, it could be a Catholic school or Muslim school or Hindu school or even an international school, you just don't know who your classmates are going to be. You get a mix of all, and there's always something so rewarding. And if we don't let others creep in to find a way to separate us, I think we'll never know what separation is. We'll only know how we will dig into everyone's food and eat. And I think food and entertainment and sport, although I don't do much of it, I think are the three most important things that brings all of us together. I think that doesn't break barriers. Tell me about your friends during this time.
Let me tell you about the women during this time, right? Especially like Muslim women, right? I mean, think about fasting, right? Like before Ramadan starts, we don't know when Ramadan starts because we check the moon before,
Correct.
no? So we have women ready to prepare meals the next day, not knowing if it's fasting or not. And this happened last year where people didn't know if it was the day after or tomorrow. But women were ready, they were ready with the morning food, the pre-dawn meal, the iftar food, and all of that. And I think we sometimes take them for granted a lot, but the food table that's prepared, it comes from a lot of the recipes that gets passed down, and the effort that gets so that labor, I feel like, has a lot to do, and like that's a lot of thanks that we need to give.
Correct. Now, I have to ask you, you have kept 2 cups of tea. You're a tea girl.
Yeah, I think like you just drink it and tani kamatat you drink it and then you just like get addicted, and it's
Are
like
you
the
that
caffeine,
person?
right?
Like 3 o'clock, you need to have a cup of tea, otherwise you go big
Yeah,
bonkers.
like sometimes at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it's just like you get so dehydrated with tea. But at the same time, you miss it when you fast because you need that caffeine kick, no? So then when it's time for iftar, like you get to drink that cup of tea and you're like, yes, now the fast is done.
Plain tea or milk tea?
Milk tea. Sometimes with a bit of condensed milk.
Oh, wow.
And you crush a bit of cardamom.
Whoa.
So you like get that.
It's
yeah.
an upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just the basic you have
No,
given
this
me.
is this is just a preview.
Preview, and the teen kitty is coming
Yeah,
after
it's
this.
coming.
So tea is like you are a lover of tea. My mom had this problem at 3 o'clock. It's like an alarm that goes.
Yeah.
Now it's high time.
And then when you start boiling the water, everybody in the house hears it and they're like, oh, you're making tea? Can I also have a cup of tea? And then it's like, yeah, you're just
When
in
it
the
builds
kitchen.
into a community
Yeah,
of tea.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm happy. Well, that's amazing. I'm so happy that we get to celebrate different cultures, different cuisines, different takes of life, and every home has a different way of celebrating and enjoying Ramadan. And I think just like how Christmas is very personal to every home, like we do something called Brooder at home.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone does Brooder,
Yeah.
but we do something called Prober. That's only in our
Okay.
family. Like
Okay.
it's our own recipe, it's our own thing, and we have to have it on our
Yeah.
table. And when others come, they're like, "What is that?" They're like, "This is what my great grandmother did." But it's so personal
Yeah.
to us. So I'm sure every house has these little stories that makes it so much more nicer. I wish you a wonderful Ramadan.
Thanks,
and
Sam.
thanks for telling me the little inside scoops that I'll never know, because I've always just seen it for the food, but there's always a bigger story behind it. Anyway, that's our chat time. It's time to break fast. I'm just going to join her because I know this time the food is going to be good.